Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Bookie Bashing. NFL Playoffs Week 1 Wildcard Round is here. Very excited to get at you with this action. As always, I'm your host, Anthony Nikki Jr., wanting to wish you a Happy New Year. Welcome to 2015. As always, I am surrounded by my gambling experts. Ace, how you feeling this weekend?
Always feeling great, Tony. You know me. Rang in the new year over in Philadelphia. I was over at the Mummers Parade. Had a great time over there, but not as great of a time as I did watching that 5-0 weekend that we ended 2014 on. And it's really just a sign of things to come at Bookie Bashing in 2015.
Yeah, I know that 5-0 weekend helped Joey Staxxx to bring in the new year the right way. How was it, Joey?
You know, Tone, I'm truly blessed. Got to spend the evening with my beautiful wife, some good friends. Ended the 2014 year with a 5-0 weekend. And guess what? We got a whole lot more winners coming this playoff season, so get ready.
Yeah, right. A lot of momentum into this playoff card here. 5-0 in the Week 17. That gave us 2 consecutive winning weeks to head into the playoffs on the year. 54-31 overall. Put that one in the books. Put a stamp on it. That is the regular season record. We told you we'd be hitting easily over 60% on the season. We did just that for you. 54-31 overall. Very excited to get at you with this playoff action as we are going to give you winners in every single game of the NFL playoffs. Starting with 4 winners on this wild card weekend. Love these 4 games. Really excited to get at you with this action. Don't want to waste any more time. Let's start them off at the top. NFL playoffs wild card round coming at you. Starting off these NFL playoffs with a total play here, as we were so hot in totals throughout this season. Why not start off these playoffs with a total play? Heading to Carolina, Arizona Cardinals coming in, going to take this one to stay under the posted total of 38. Getting 2 teams here that made it to the playoffs based on their defenses. Top 5 defenses on both sides, and 2 offenses that at times can really struggle to move the football, especially in Arizona. First off, Carolina. Coming in, they had 6 consecutive losses this season. They ended up winning the NFC South with a 4-game winning streak in the end, mostly because of their defense. In that 4-game run, they hadn't given up more than 17 points in any of the games. Last week, division title on the line. Essentially a playoff game. They gave up 3 points against Matt Ryan, who really can put up a lot of points at home. The pass rush for Carolina has been pretty much unstoppable. Now they take on a Cardinals team that has struggled to move the ball since the Carson Palmer injury. Now we're on a 3rd-string quarterback in Ryan Lindley. Arizona's going to have to run the football in order to be successful. We know they're going to try to manage the game clock because Lindley just can't drop back. He's not going to have enough time, let alone he doesn't have the arm to drop back and just consecutively throw the ball. However, the Arizona defense got them to the playoffs. They have a lot of pride on defense. Since Lindley has taken over, the Cardinals have not given up more than 17 points in any of their games, and they've given up 6 points twice. In Carolina, we've had bad weather all day Friday, and now there's a 70% chance that rain continues throughout Saturday. It's going to be sloppy on the field, a lot of running the football. Both of these teams know they're not going to be able to drop back and throw the ball 30, 35 times in order to win this football game. It's going to be a run the ball, time of possession kind of game here. Both of these defenses are going to make it tough for either offense to move the ball. Love this one to stay under the posted total of 38 to open up this playoff weekend.
These Cardinals are going to have to rely on their defense because their offense is very weak. Cardinals have Lindley at quarterback. Basically no offense. They're going to have to rely heavily on the run. It's going to be defense, punt, field goal, field goal. Carolina Panthers play very tough at home. That defense always steps up. This is a wild card game where they're going to have to do just that. Like Tony said, they're battling the elements, and this is going to be a game where both teams are running the football. Field goals are going to be gold this game, and this is one where it just screams under. 38 points, we might not even break 30. Roll that under.
Guys, this is the type of game that the first team to 17 is going to win. So the under is just a real smart play, since neither team is going to be able to put points up on the board. Arizona's offense has only been putting up 14 points a game. Now they have to go into Carolina to play a defense who in that same span has only been giving up about 14 points a game. And they have to rely on Ryan Lindley's arm to get them some points. And that's a problem because in Ryan Lindley's 134 career passing attempts, he only has 2 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. That's just a horrible margin. But the reason why this under is a great play is because in the last 3 seasons, NFC West teams as underdogs are 54, 35, and 1 against the spread. So the Cardinals are going to be right in this game. They're going to try and cover. And I don't know which team pulls it out in the end, but I do know it's going to be a defensive slugfest. So definitely take the smart money with the underplay.
Yeah, really easy in this one. As you got two solid defenses here that are going to show up. Probably going to get rainy weather. Messy game. It just has field goal type game written all over it. As I see both of these defenses really stepping up in the red zone, not letting the opposing offenses get any points on the board. Start off this wild card weekend with that total under 38 as Carolina ultimately gets the victory, 16-12 final. Heading out to Heinz Field, Pittsburgh Steelers laying the 3 points in this wild card matchup versus their division rival, the Baltimore Ravens. And you gotta love the Steelers here only laying the field goals. This is a Steelers team that has shown up all year. I've been saying since August, this is a squad that can really make a run at the AFC Championship. People have been calling me crazy, but mark my words, this team is going to show up on Saturday, give us a big home victory. The trends just scream the Steelers here, as this is a team that has owned the head-to-head matchup with the Ravens as of late. 3-1-1 against the spread in the last 5 meetings in Pittsburgh, 4-1-1 against the spread against Baltimore in their last 6 meetings overall. Le'Veon Bell is out, and I'm not going to act like that isn't a big deal, but you bring in Ben Tate to manage the running game a little bit, and I still have Antonio Brown on the outside, who I think is going to have a huge game in this one. Listen, folks, we have a 100% chance of rain at Heinz Field on Saturday. The field's going to be messed up. It's going to be a game where not many big plays are going to happen. So the few big plays that do happen are going to play huge dividends in the game, and I think those big plays go to Antonio Brown. Steelers going to give him the ball on screens, possibly a couple handoffs. He might even do big things in the punting game. Brown has helped Big Ben revive his career all season. I think he's going to continue to do that against the Ravens team that kind of backed their way into the playoffs here. 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games overall. Last Sunday in Week 17, when they needed the victory, really didn't show up at home against Cleveland. Kind of had their way into that victory. Ended up with a 10-point win, but it was really closer than that. Here is a Steelers team that owns the playoff months. Pittsburgh, ever since Bill Cowher was there, and it really just rolled right into Mike Tomlin, has this team prepared and ready to go. I really believe Dick LeBeau's going to have this defense ready to go against the Ravens squad that they really know. They see them twice a year. I think they show up to play, and we see a lot of like what happened at Heinz Field earlier this season when the Steelers rolled out the Ravens 43-23 final. Pittsburgh, 10-2 against the spread in their last 12 matchups in January, in the games that count. 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 home playoff games. They show up at Heinz Field. The black and yellow, the terrible towels are going to be there. Take Pittsburgh laying the 3 points. They get the job done at home against Baltimore.
Yeah, guys, we know that the Le'Veon Bell injury has basically stolen all of the headlines of this game. Everybody thinks it's going to be a huge factor, but luckily for you, you have Ace Berg here to tell you why it really isn't that big of a deal. If you look at the difference in Le'Veon's performance in the first time he faced off against the division this year against the second time he faced the division, it's a striking difference. He goes from over 6 yards a carry to down to 3 when he faces the team the second time. So it's obvious to me that he wasn't going to have a breakout game anyway. And they brought in Ben Tate, who can help them on 3rd and short. And that's going to be a big factor against the Ravens defensive line that is getting Haloti Ngata back. I think that the Steelers line is able to muster enough to keep that secure. And on the flip side of the ball, guys, the Ravens are losing Eugene Monroe from their offensive line. And they have to go up against the Steelers defense that has been better since they brought in James Harrison. It's almost the flip side of the Ravens, who was better early on this season, but lost cornerback Jimmy Smith, and ever since has had major problems covering deep down the field. Their other cornerbacks just are not nearly as good, and teams have been taking advantage of them all season. Like Tony said, look for Antonio Brown to have a huge day, and guys, at the end of the day, if home field ever made a difference, this is where it comes into play. Roll Pittsburgh in a great value play.
Gotta love the Steelers at home here. They've been playing great football all season long. Big Ben and those receivers are just too much to handle. Nobody in the league can cover them, let alone this Baltimore Ravens defense. Antonio Brown, he's definitely going to get his. The Le'Veon Bell situation is not a big deal. We have Ben Tate to step in and fill the role. We got this Joe Flacco-led Ravens offense. This is an offense that has been very streaky, and here on the road in this type of wild card playoff atmosphere, I just don't think we're going to get that Joe Flacco. I think we're going to get that Joe Wacko that we know, and this is going to be an easy victory for these Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to lay that 3 here, and we're going to cruise to a victory.
Yeah, love the Steelers at home here. Only laying that field goal. Think we're getting great value. I still think this Steelers team is a team to reckon with in the AFC and a team to fear. Take Pittsburgh. They show up here on Saturday, 20-13 final. Laying the 3 points here in Indianapolis, as I love these Colts to get the job done here at home. A lot of places is at 3.5. If so, buy that hook down as always. Play it smart. Don't get beat by the field goal. But I think Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton, and company have a big game in this one as the Colts show up and prove they are that consistent squad we know they are. Indianapolis comes in 14-6-1 against the spread in the last 21 games overall. 26-1 against the spread in the last 27 home games. This is a team that knows how to get the job done, knows how to win football games. On the other side, Andy Dalton, very inconsistent. And now his main weapon, A.J. Green, doubtful in this one. If he does play, he will be very limited, folks, and he will not have a big game. I think the Bengals struggle to move the ball here. Earlier in the season, when they went into Indy smoked them 27-0. I don't know if it's that ugly, but I think Indy controls the game in a similar fashion here. Home team in this head-to-head matchup is covered in 5 of 6 meetings overall, and Cincinnati really a squad that we know what they do in the playoffs. Here's a Bengals team that has gone 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 playoff games. January is not the time of year where Andy Dalton and company and these Cincinnati Bengals shine. I think the Colts here, much more consistent, too many weapons on offense, too high-powered. I just don't think the Bengals can keep up. Take the Colts, lay the 3 here, and cruise to a victory.
Andrew Luck, the much better quarterback. This Colts team has played great all season long. They had a great record, few hiccups along the way, but overall a great season. Andrew Luck constantly getting better, constantly progressing as an NFL quarterback. He has the big name receivers. We have a big question mark with Cincinnati's number 1. Not only that, this Bengals team just blows your mind. They got all the talent in the world. Jeremy Hill stepping up and running at an amazing level, and they still find ways to lose and look horrible doing it. This is just a game where you have to love Indy here. There's no other way about it. Indy at home, only laying 3 points to Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to lay that 3 points 10 out of 10 times. Roll with the Colts.
Yeah, many people look at this line and think it's kind of tricky. I look at it and think Vegas is trying to trick you into taking the Bengals, who in reality are just about to get absolutely steamrolled. Andy Dalton has just been atrocious in the playoffs, and some people might point out that Andrew Luck threw 7 picks in his 2 playoff games last year. But I don't think that matters when he's going up against Andy Dalton and these Bengals. Not only has Andy Dalton proven he's not good in the playoffs, but Coach Marvin Lewis isn't good in the playoffs. Not only is he 0-5 straight up in his 5 playoff games, but he also hasn't covered any one of them. I believe that Andrew Luck, who has covered 17 of his 25 home games so far in his career, is just going to easily add another one, as he's playing at home and has the whole crowd of Indianapolis absolutely silent when he's out to work. And it's the exact opposite when Andy Dalton has to go out and work. The Cincinnati offense has proven that it's not as good on the road. It's gotten a field goal less this season when it's away from Cincinnati. And they're playing a Colts offense who's allowing a touchdown less when they're at home. Vontae Davis is a very capable corner of shutting down A.J. Green when he's healthy, let alone banged up. And if he doesn't play, Mohamed Sanu might as well be a ghost because he might not even have a reception all day. Andrew Luck is just going to continue cementing his legacy as the next great Colts quarterback as the Colts roll over these Bengals and head to the second round.
Yeah, gotta love the Colts here. Only laying the 3.5. Buy that hook down. Play it smart. Don't get beat by a field goal here. But these Colts, I don't think it's going to be as ugly as that regular season matchup, but they control this one. Too much power. 31-20 final. Finishing off this wild card weekend in Dallas as the Detroit Lions head in, going to take this one to cruise over that posted total of 48 as we're going to have a slugfest. 2 high-powered offenses in this one. And I know people are a little bit scared of Detroit's offense on the road. Matthew Stafford, not the same quarterback, away from that home dome in Detroit. Look what happened last week in Green Bay. Great example. But I am out of the elements in this one. I'm in Dallas against a defense that I think is really terrible. Now they've been calling out Golden Tate all week, giving them bulletin board material for these Lions. I don't think that's a good idea at all. Big game for Golden Tate, big game for Calvin Johnson. I think Matthew Stafford shows up in this playoff game and makes it a tough game for Dallas. Unfortunately for these Lions, on the other side of the ball, I got Dez Bryant, I have DeMarco Murray, I got Tony Romo. Tony Romo's proven he's got what it takes this year in December. Think he shows up in this one, puts up a lot of points. Both of these defenses going to have a hard time stopping the oppositions here. Head-to-head, these teams have gone over in 5 consecutive matchups, 7 of 8 matchups overall. Neither of these piss-poor defenses can stop all those weapons on the other side's offenses. I think you got easy value on this one. Take this game to cruise over the posted total of 48.
When I look at this game, I think why make it more complicated than it has to be? The Cowboys are laying 7, and that's more points than they really should be laying. I believe that they're going to win, but you just can't trust that team, and more importantly, that coach, to pull away from a Detroit Lions team that still has a very good offense and a very good defense. Now, I do believe that their defense is a bit overrated, and I think Dallas can expose their weaknesses. I believe they are weak in the secondary, especially when they can't get to the quarterback as quickly as they would like to. too. I believe the Dallas offensive line is going to give Romo some time to throw the ball, at least more than that secondary is used to handling, and I think the Cowboys' weapons can exploit that, along with DeMarco Murray being able to put up some decent yardage against one of the NFL's best running defenses. On the flip side, you know Matthew Stafford is a gunslinger, and he's going to throw the ball around all day, folks. He is Megatron, and the Cowboys will not have an answer for that monster. I think Golden Tate could get himself a big day as well. I could see the Detroit Lions having a really nice day offensively against a Cowboys defense that ranks in the mid-20s. As we end our wildcard weekend on a very entertaining note, just roll the over.
I absolutely hate this Dallas Cowboys defense. Who's going to be able to stop Calvin Johnson on Sunday? That's what I thought. Nobody. I think he's good for a couple touchdowns on Sunday, as this one turns into a shootout. Tony Romo's got Dez Bryant to hook up with, as he's been hooking up with him all season. Nobody's covering him on the other side of the football either. There's just going to be a lot of offense. Matt Stafford has a day. Tony Romo has a day. And DeMarco Murray pounds that football. He's able to rip off quite a few nice big runs. And this is a game where this over-under, if it weren't a playoff game, would be set at like 54, 55, something ridiculous. Because these offenses are very explosive. A lot of points scored in a shootout here in Dallas. Roll that over.
Yeah, both of these quarterbacks going to show up here. I think you're going to get a slugfest in this one here, as these defenses are going to really struggle here to stop these big playmakers on these offenses. Take this one to cruise over that posted total of 48, as Dallas ultimately gets the victory, 34-28 final. That's going to wrap things up for this first weekend of the NFL playoffs here. Wild Card Weekend in the books. We love these 4 games. Think we got you 4 easy winners this weekend. Of course, riding into the playoffs with a little bit of momentum. 2 consecutive winning weeks to end the regular season. Last week, week 17, 5-0, perfect week, giving our grand total regular season record to 54-31 overall. We told you in the beginning, easily would be hitting over 60%. Hope you rode with us all year long. If you did it, not too late to get on board. Basketball just around the corner, and still a lot of money to be made in this NFL card this season. Starting off this wild card weekend with a total play. Heading to Carolina with the Arizona Cardinals coming in. Field goal game here. 2 good defenses going to get in a war in this one. 16-12 final. Pittsburgh Steelers laying the 3.5 points against the division rival Baltimore Ravens. Going to buy that hook down as always. Play it smart. Don't get beat by the field goal here. But the Steelers ultimately get the job done in a rain-fest, tough game at Heinz Field. 20-13 final. Indianapolis, Andrew Luck and company, the high-powered offense of these Colts, laying the 3 points at home. Cincinnati Bengals come in. They got embarrassed there earlier in the season. Don't think it's going to be as bad, but still, the Colts get the job done. 31-20 final. And then, heading to Dallas, where the Cowboys take on Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions. 2 quarterbacks with something to prove. 2 weak defenses. I think you get a slugfest in this one. Dallas ultimately gets the victory. 34-28 final. Love these 4 games here. Think we got you 4 easy winners. Make sure to continue to check back for these NFL winners, as we are going to be picking every game of the NFL playoffs, and just around the corner, NBA and college basketball. For my gambling associates, my experts, Mr. Ace Berg and Joey Staxxx, I'm your host, Anthony Nikki Jr. Wishing you a great weekend. Continue to make that money, and we will see you here next time at www.bookiebashingats.com.